All right, and I'm live. I guess happy or not Thanksgiving. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. It's St. Patrick's Day. I've never really had a huge anything behind it. I know I'm Irish and all that. I do remember one year when I was about 5. I think he was my great uncle, or he's like, he was straight from Ireland. He's like, oh, he's 5. He needs a beer already, and they try to give me beer at 5. That was about the craziest St. Patrick's Day that I remember. But the one thing that I did want to talk about is when I was doing that interview with Natasha, one of the questions that came up, because I put it out there, that post, I'm interviewing Natasha. What's the most common what questions you have for her? And the most common was whole grains. I don't understand this obsession with whole grains at all. Like at all. It's just it doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, good Natasha interview. Yep. It came out pretty good. I'm sure we'll do another one. Of course, as I was watching it to edit it, I came up with some questions that I kind of wish I would ask, but we can do another one if possible. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about was the whole grains, and it baffles my mind because we really are not equipped to eat a lot of this stuff. Like oats are all right. Brown rice, really, most people get bloated on brown rice for a reason. We're really not supposed to eat that kind of, the shell of this stuff. It's kind of like eating a banana with a peel on it. Like you can do it, but I don't know why you would, and you're probably going to get bloated from it. I mean, especially if it's organic. I know some people like to eat the organic peels off bananas, but just because you can do some, just because you can like go sit on like hot coals or something like that, not die, doesn't mean that it's like a good thing to do on a daily basis or ever. The biggest disservice I think that these plant-based doctors have is their insistence on the whole grains, because we're a juicer. We literally juice things. We literally process things, refine them anyways. So you're not kidding your body and it's kind of like some of these people who say that you shouldn't even mash potatoes. How are you not going to mash some potatoes? You mash it when you eat the potatoes. So you're mashing it before it gets to your stomach anyways. You just happen to do it, beforehand. Ah, man, I don't know. Some of this stuff. One thing though, completely off topic, and I know this isn't even the bottle, but I went to Aldi. I'm becoming like an Aldi fanboy. They got a pineapple juice there. It's just straight pineapple juice. That stuff is righteous. I'll tell you what, but it's like $4.19, so that's a little up there price wise. I get really bloated when I eat chia seeds. They're hard to digest. Well, first of all, that's fat mixed with, they don't digest well at all. The chia seeds, not that I'm saying to do this, but if you do soak them and they get that little coating around them, that's when they're easy to digest. My brother-in-law is a bodybuilder and only eats brown rice, then looks at me like I'm crazy eating 6 cups of white rice. That's the thing, man. If you watch, if it's even back in the 90s and stuff, if you look at bodybuilding magazines, it's brown rice, brown rice, brown rice, brown rice. And I always hated it. But I'm like, well, these are in the magazines, even though all magazines are literally, because if you have a publication of any kind, you have to register it with the government. All publications are registered as catalogs because there's more ads in them than information. But I would listen to this stuff, and of course, I did the brown rice, and I would almost feel guilty if I had white rice or something. So you got to get rid of some of these thought processes behind this. It just cracks me up. Another comment that I saw that absolutely baffled the mind, and wasn't even in the Natasha. I don't even know which video this is on. I actually got rid of it because I get stupid comments. But somebody said I'm a pathological liar. Like, I'm not selling anything to anybody. People want me to sell the art. Some people want me to sell, coaching and sell different things. I'm not selling anything. So I don't know. No, I have no reason to lie to people. White rice is much better than brown rice, but whole wheat tastes better than white. No, you're lying. See, See, now the people call me a pathological liar, and then you come on here and lie to me about how uh whole grain tastes better than no. Got in here on time. Yeah, just finished a 30-minute bike ride. Awesome. You have good energy. I do. I'm a little exhausted today. Um, Another cat, my mom's cat passed yesterday, so it was kind of like bringing emotions up from Blinky. I'm not lying. Anybody who tells me whole wheat pasta is better than regular wheat pasta, I don't know, man. I don't know if I trust that. Do you ever put extra sugar in that pie? If there's half a cup of the sugar in there, yeah. I recently calculated the sugar in my juices and noticed they are lower than 100 grams to 500 milliliter. Durian Rider recommends. Yeah, I always add sugar. Tastes so much better anyway. And I find it stretches out longer because if it doesn't have sugar in it, you just tug the whole thing. So that's kind of how I stretch things out a little longer. Is I just add sugar to it. Even when I make my own juices, I'll add sugar to it. I don't think I did juice cane sugar a few times. It destroys your juicer, so I don't recommend it. If you have a what are they called? Damn it. Try best something. I can't, Green Star. If you have a Green Star, you can actually juice sugar cane, but if you have most other juicers, you really can't do it. Happy St. Patty's Day. Yep. 100%. St. Patty's Day. I'm actually wearing a Guinness shirt that kind of lost all of its screen printing. I got sick of peeing all the time while not satiated from juices, so I figured I need to up the calories in it. Yeah, 100%. You know, peeing all the time is not fun. I actually pee a lot too, just because I drink a lot of water. But I do notice anybody who's interested in water, I do notice a huge difference hydration wise with reverse osmosis comparatively, even filtered water. Reverse osmosis is so much better as far as hydrating you, like so much better. So I suggest either getting a system yourself or just getting the 5 gallon jugs and just going to get it yourself at whoever sells it. Here, Whole Foods sells it, and Lucky Mart sells it. What are you doing for St. Patty's Day? I'm probably going to work. I don't know if it's busy. It's falling on a Friday during Lent, so all the fish fries are real busy. So it may not be. It may not be busy tonight. I have no idea. Or it's just all drinking. I ate 2 pounds of plain whole wheat pasta in one meal 2 days ago and completely enjoyed it. White wheat pasta is good, and whole wheat pasta is even better. All right, man. I mean, all the stuff that nobody buys, you can go for it. When I ate rice, there was times when I liked white rice and times when I really liked brown rice. Okay. I mean, some people, claim they like the taste of this stuff. Never trust grains, man. Have you ever heard of grain madness, aka schizophrenia? Yeah, exactly. That's why you got to peel them or shell them. You can't have the shells. It causes schizophrenia. We just proved it here. I didn't even need to study. I just proved it on this live here. Somebody's gonna take this somewhere and somebody's gonna come after me. No, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it. If you had permanent access to like mangoes or bananas or something like that, I would. I don't even know if I would eat grain, but I do know that it adds to performance quite a bit. That's kind of why I have it. That is my favorite for eating. Yeah, especially white rice, potatoes, stuff like that. A little bit of pasta. I'm not as big a fan of pasta, but aren't refined grains pretty modern thing? They are a modern thing, but people are still trying to push the brown rice, the whole wheat pasta, the whole wheat this. Do I eat seafood at all? No. Oysters? No. I never liked oysters. Never liked them. I didn't like clams. And I didn't like mussels. Scallops are all right, but scallops are really up there. Really up there. I actually think I have a bunch of scallop shells over there from Ireland, of all places. Happy St. Patrick's Day. But yeah, I never really liked the shellfish. I'm not allergic to the iodine, but I never really like I didn't like crab. I didn't like lobster. You ever take wormwood for parasites? Wormwood can send I do, I actually own some. Wormwood can send you, I don't know if anybody's ever seen, Living and Loathing in Las Vegas, the movie. If you take enough wormwood, you can have a pretty psychedelic, moment. So don't take too much of it. But yeah, it'll kill parasites real quick, but it can make you paranoid too, like really bad. So take it, I actually would take less than they prescribe on the bottle or whatever. I know Paradigm sells it. There's a company that I like way better than Paradigm sells it, and I can't even remember the name of it right now. I haven't had it in years, but I used to take it all the time, and it helps a lot. It helps a lot. I got the tincture because I ate sushi for years, but it tastes terrible. It's paired with black walnut. Oh gosh, what a terrible taste, man. That must. I mean, you must have to have like a gallon of water afterwards too, because it's astringent. I would just get a powder form of it because I really I'm not a huge fan of the tinctures anyway because it's stored in alcohol. Yeah, I would just get powder form of it. It's more powerful anyway. It's a lot more potent. If you guys could hit the like button, that would be phenomenal. There's no such thing as grain madness. I mean, there's a book about it, so it must be real. I think there's a podcast about it too. If it's on the internet, it must be real. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the whole grains. I just don't think they digest well. And most people say that they get bloated afterwards. And I can see why, because your body doesn't digest it well. It's like eating too many greens. We really don't digest greens very well either, especially stuff like spinach and kale. So you're not going to be able to digest it and you're going to get bloated. I mean, there's no amount of water because, there's actually a lot of fat soluble vitamins in these leafy greens. So if you don't have fat in your digestion, it's not going to digest right. So, how long should I wait to eat sugar after a fatty meal? That's a good question. If you watch the last video I did on keto with Pritikin, they were recording angina attacks for up to 4 hours after having a fatty meal. So that means that the fat was still in the system 4 hours afterwards. So it would probably be a while, probably be a while. Thanks for asking Tasha my question. Appreciate it. Sandy is leaving. Sandy's going to be here next week. I doubt she'll ever get on video though. Yeah, the Natasha interview was good. I want to get her on here a few more times. However many. I really want to get Georgie back on here. I'm going to reach back out to him, see if he can't do another one, maybe even next week. We'll see what happens with that because I got a lot of questions for him. A lot of people want to know a lot more than I asked him. But I don't like to interview people for more than an hour because I feel like people have things to do. Can you get Dr. Morse? No, I can't. I can't. Mm-mm. I do not jive with that guy at all. At all. I have a history with him. I don't want to. He's not even a real doctor. He literally. I mean, I'll give him credit for this. He literally typed up his own doctorate and printed it out on a computer printer and hung it on the wall and claims he's a doctor. He's one of the only people I have no interest in having on here. Do you eat leftover potatoes cold or reheat in the microwave? I don't. I always make the exact amount of potatoes that I know I'm going to eat, and I don't reheat potatoes. No, I don't do it. Morse looks like a scammer. That dude is the highest level scammer that there is on the planet. The only thing that I like about him is his food combining chart. That's about it. What about reheating rice? If I'm going to reheat rice, I do tend to have some left over. I'll make like 3 dry cups. I generally can't get that much down, but sometimes like last night I did because I was out all night door dashing, which is why it looked a little rough this morning. Um, I just throw it back in the rice cooker and the function it just says reheat and I hit reheat. That's how I reheat rice. I'm lucky, kind of. I mean, my post office job paid like way more than I make now, like way more. It's embarrassing, but I was always there, right? So I'm kind of lucky in the fact that with DoorDash and with the art stuff, I can and like once the consulting starts, hopefully by the end of this month, I'm here so I can use my rice cooker. Um, so I'm here and I'm lucky with this, but if I had to use a microwave, I mean microwave just destroys everything. It's not really living afterwards. John Rose interview. I would interview him. He's a little crazy, so am I, so that might go well. We might get in a fight. I have no idea. I think he's a little extremist with some of the stuff, but I hear what he's saying. I hear what he's saying with the serpent and the intestines being the serpent in the Bible, the like the Adam and Eve thing. I hear what he's saying. I kind of agree with it, but we are so far from where fruit is good that it's hard to live there. There are Dr. Morris followers who eat only one fruit like watermelon and grapes for months and nothing else. I don't have an issue with that one. I mean, if you're gonna do a mono meal, fine. I mean, it's easier on the digestion. Hey, Grace. You still didn't message me that blueberry thing. I hold grudges. Why do potatoes have fat on chronometer? I thought it's fat free like rice. No, I mean everything has some fat in it unless it's straight up sugar. How long do you ride exercise bike? Oh, I don't own an exercise bike. I have a bicycle on a trainer, but most of the time I just go outside. 30 minutes. Most of the time. It's called mucoid plaque. Yeah, I know what it is. If you eat a ton of food, is fasting for 1 or 2 days after damaging to the weight loss? Yes. Yeah, I mean, I even talked about that with Georgie. I want to talk about intermittent fasting with Georgie as well. Think you could get McDougal on? I have reached out to McDougal like 2 or 3 times. I would love to get him on here. That sounds like Space Cadet BS. I don't know what that's to. Potatoes have very, very little fat in them. Don't worry about I mean, when it comes to potatoes, don't worry about the fat count. Like oatmeal's iffy. I wouldn't want to base my life on oatmeal, but potatoes for sure not. Why is meat bad for humans? There's a lot of fat, there's a lot of protein in it, and we're just not built to handle that. Like we're not carnivores. We're not like if you can't just go out and kill it and just eat it. That's just the way it is. Like if roadkill doesn't look normal to you, then you're just not. It isn't what we're built to eat. If you look at carnivores, they have a really short digestive tract. It's like only 3 feet or something like that, because it just comes right back out afterwards. Otherwise, it sits there and putrefies. And then the more it putrefies, and everybody's bragging about, oh, I only took a shit like 3 times last week, thumbs up. But that's just not the reality of where we're supposed to be. Oh, yeah, I kind of made the recipe up, to be honest. Boil loads of sugar, then boil it in with fruit choice fast. All right, I get it. You just don't want to message it. I get it. Do you ride your bicycle in the winter outdoors? If so, how do you stay warm? Well, I'm fat, so I'm well insulated. I'm not actually that overweight. Yeah, I like riding outside in the winter. It's kind of invigorating. I don't really get cold. You get the lobster gloves, the ones that kind of split your fingers. Those work really good. If you get cold feet, the best thing that you can possibly do with your feet is to cover them in foil. Sounds crazy. Before you put them in your shoes, you will not get cold feet. I don't care. I rode in -5 Fahrenheit with my feet covered in foil. I didn't even know it was cold out. What do you think of do you write? You survived another winter up north. Any more thoughts about moving? Yeah, I'm looking into Thailand. I was shocked today when I looked into the ticket flight. One way is three grand. It's ridiculous. What do you think of Wim Hof? He eats once a day. I like some of his philosophies. I think that's retarded though. Which is not my thing. Though. People are gonna get triggered now. I think that's not normal. I don't think it's a good idea. Because we have saculated colon and only herbivores have sac. I mean, there you go. There you go. This dude did a study for you. The person asking about the why we don't eat meat. If I wanted to make a sugar bar instead of drinking sugar water, what could I use for ingredients? I was thinking oats, but it's kind of high in fat. Corn high. Just make your own candies, dude. Just get a candy thermometer. Most thermometers don't go up. I think you got to boil sugar to about 320 degrees and get a sill plate, like a silicone plate or silicone molds, and just make your own candies. I don't make a bar and just make candies if you just want sugar water. So we should eat raw meat. That's no, your body is not built to digest it. The people who eat more and more and more meat are the ones that are having more and more health issues. Lean raw seafood seem to digest well and pair well with rice and fruits. Man, you guys are just laser focused on that why would you bother? All right, it's kind of like if you're building a skyscraper, if you're building so you need amino acids. There's no real such thing as protein. It's known as it's actually nitrogen. There's no real thing as protein. It's just a made up term to explain it to people. This is protein, but it's amino acids. So you need amino acids. Those are the building blocks of the body. So obviously you need them. But it's kind of like going to a sky, like say, like I'm going to build a 35-foot skyscraper or 100 foot or whatever, or 1,000 foot or, like the trade towers. I'm going to go build this. What I'm going to do though, is I'm going to go take a few buildings down. I'm going to dissect all that stuff. I'm going to get all the amino acids, the building blocks of this building, and then I'm going to build a building. Instead of just going and getting the raw materials that you needed to build a building and just going and building the building. Yeah, people want to make this harder than it really needs to be. Like can you imagine being like the general contractor or the construction manager of this and saying, all right, uh this tonight we're gonna I know they didn't approve this, but we're gonna go knock this building down over here. We're just gonna take all the bricks and all the metal and everything, and we're gonna go start building our building. They won't know. It's kind of like doing that. I don't understand why people want to make it harder than it needs to be, and then all the byproducts from that are going to be in your system because you got to break it back down to the amino acids instead of just eating the amino acids. And you're going to have issues because there's a lot of byproduct that come with that. And you're going to start smelling like urine if you have too much of it, or ammonia. Your liver is going to shut down because it just can't process all this stuff. So then instead of doing uh, the major detox that the liver is built to do, it starts sending stuff that the lymphatic system isn't equipped to handle to the lymphatic system. And then your lymphatic system, which doesn't have a pump, you are the pump, starts getting backed up even further. And you start wondering why you have autoimmune diseases because you're defending eating this animal that you never had any business eating uh, to fit in with society. It's just, it just doesn't make any sense. All right. How often you track your weight? I don't. I think that's the best way to stay fat is to track your weight. I was surprised how much Natasha knows about nutrition. When I was her age, I was ignorant about nutrition. Well, I mean, she's with Durian Riders, so he's got a lot of info. Uh, we are not carnivores because we had to invent arrows, hunt animals, and before the invention, people would die of hunger. No, they ate fruit. That's all. Yeah, 100%. Or they traveled with starches. If you had to travel, you would go with starches. Lucky that cold doesn't bother you. Good to know about the gloves. I have Raynaud's. Yeah, Sandy has that too. I got her some really good gloves on it went away. So my hands and feet get too cold. Never heard about the foil thing. My body fat doesn't keep me warm much, sadly. You probably have bad circulation. You might have fat in your system, and if that's the tip, then you're just gonna have to get the fat out of the system. Tips for making mashed potatoes. The best way to mash potatoes really is to cube them up, put them in water. If you like salt, add a little salt, boil it, make sure the potatoes are covered, boil it for a little while, and then once they're, more than fork tender, just I actually use one of those what do they call them? Beaters, with the two that you usually would use cake to make cakes with. And that's about it. You can add, vegetable stock. Sometimes if you can find oat milk that's like 1 gram of fat per 8 ounces, then you can use that too. Philosophy helps man make choices. As long as man is confronted with choices, he needs a philosophy. A woman without philosophy is a turnoff. Any human, we are not machines. Yeah. If you're just a ghost in a shell, uh, there's no attraction there whatsoever. I mean, you see this, they're parrots, they hear stuff and they just parrot it off, and they just keep going with that. And there's a lot of them. Even to eat a dog, you need a knife and chase them, and the dogs used to be fast, not like today. Yeah. Red and black rice, 7 out of 10 times more antioxidants than other rices. When I ate it, I noticed I was leaner and less sore while training. I give you that one. I do like the black rice. That stuff is pretty good. So I'm completely backtracking. Um, do you know a good candy brand without junk chemicals in it? Not really. Not here. In the United States, they just do not care. But I've noticed in other countries that actually don't allow a lot of the chemicals that we allow here. So no, I really don't. Also more fiber and red and black rice. Yeah. Well, just because of the shell. How to then build muscle without protein? Why is it? I didn't say that. But you get, I mean, it's ridiculous how little amino acids actually are required to build like muscle. It's like less than a 2 or 3 grams. It's crazy how little muscle, because your muscle is not, it's a storage device for glycogen. Your whole muscle belly is not actually muscle, it's glycogen. So there's a ridiculous amount or little amount of protein in that. What about how hormones are going with zero fat diet? Your hormones are not built off of fat whatsoever. Matter of fact, when I did my own study on myself, blood test. I have the video up. I ate a pound of sugar a day and I doubled my testosterone. And if you go to Haidut, it's HAIDUT.me, they literally doubled the size of rat and mice testicles by feeding them Coke. Sugar is what, yes, it's built from fat, but it needs sugar to build it. And you already have enough fat in you. Your body, even when you're at like 3% body fat, I think you have something like 10 days worth of fuel still. Fresh dough for mashed potatoes. Oh, yeah. As far as like herbs and stuff, it depends on what you like, man. I really like dill on potatoes, though. Planet oat milk. I don't know that I've had that one. I've seen it. They're more expensive than I want to spend. Just make your own too. You can just make your own. It's really not hard. My cold hands get better when I remember to eat a lot. Yeah. 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 100%. It's just, the more you eat, the more your system moves. Yeah. Ghost in a Shell is a good story. It is. You should interview Ralph from True Power Weight Loss Center channel. I'm gonna write it down on this thing that I never seem to be able to remember. Alright, what else? 2 to 3 grams, dang, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's really low. It's really low. I did a video about this. I might have taken it down. I don't know. I had a chick with a really nice butt on it, and I think YouTube freaked out about it, so they made me take it down. I'm pretty sure it might still be out. Interestingly enough, when I made that video, I was just looking for thumbnails, and I typed in, fit women, and this article came up that women who have larger butts are more intelligent. So I don't know how true that is, but if there is a study for that, I will gladly sign up for that one. For your information, even GPT is sugar phobe. I asked if 12 bananas for breakfast was a good idea after my 10-mile run. Told me absolutely not a good idea. Then don't listen to it. What's up with 1 gram per pound body weight BS? I don't. Oh, 1 gram per pound. Oh, gosh, are they still talking about that with the protein? I mean, if you really look at it, the people behind that are the protein sellers. They took stuff that back in the day we discarded because we knew how toxic it was for the body, and they started selling it like whey and casein. Casein's really bad for you. Our Coca-Cola, it's okay to drink in his diet. Yeah. I wouldn't drink too much. It's got acid in it to form it's carbonic acid. Every single plant food has every essential and non-essential amino acid in it, and looked into the complete protein, Nathan Pritikin lecture on complete protein from Lars and Mendel study. Well, this all came from a woman who had no idea what she was talking about. She wrote the book on complete protein back in 77 or 76. And what was it? McConnell or something like that took over, and he actually created the food pyramid based on this ridiculous notion. And then the lobbyists got behind it. Are you in DR coaching group? I am not. Carbs are protein sparing. I hear I am a topic of discussion in their coaching group as of late. Carbs are protein sparing. I don't know if he's angry with me or what. Carbs are protein sparing, so provided you get an abundance of carbs, all the amino acids are prioritized. Yeah, I mean, if you get enough carbs, then you get enough protein in. But it's best to seek out vegan bodybuilders that look the way you want to look and study them closely. I would go with that, but they do eat a lot more protein than I really even think you need. I don't think you need all of it. It's ridiculous. I mean, I know they're not as big as that. I used to have 24-inch arms. I don't even know what they are anymore, but I mean, I have not lost much muscle mass at all, and I barely eat protein. uh, is bad to eat fruit with sugar 30 minutes before bed? No, it probably help you sleep. Matter of fact, I know some people who eat bananas right before bed just so it helps them sleep. Why do you think so many people are getting lean on carnivore? It's not hard to get lean on carnivore because you're poisoning yourself. So when you're poisoning yourself, your body has to neutralize that poison, and it starts pulling all the water out of your system to neutralize the poison that you just ate. Because meat is really stimulating. This is why people like it so much. And the reason it's stimulating is because you just ate a poison, and your body's like, we got to get rid of this poison. We got to neutralize it somehow. So it starts pulling minerals from your bones. It starts pulling minerals from your teeth. It starts pulling water from your glycogen stores to neutralize this. And it happens really quick. So you lose weight really fast. The problem is your body can't digest most of this stuff because there's no fiber involved. And it starts building up, building up, building up. And once it hits that point, is you get over toxic, you get fat liver, and your kidneys can't handle it anymore because it's too much aminos, urea or whatever it's called. And it's bad news all the way around. So you're poisoning yourself basically. And I mean, it's kind of like Smoking makes you skinny because you're poisoning your lungs, and it's just it's a roller coaster. Do you think 2 cups of soy milk a day would hinder my weight loss? Do you only drink water and juice? I would stay away from the soy milk, honestly, if I was trying to lose weight. Why are bananas yellow? Because they're not green. How long should I wait to get my blood test for testosterone? I only started. I would have gotten a basal. I would have gotten your starting. I would go right now and then do it for a while and see what happens, what improvements occur. Especially if you don't got to pay for it. If you only got to pay a copay, I would just go get that done now. And if you're testing testosterone, make sure you get there before 8 a.m. What's the most weight you ever lost off keto? Hmm. Probably 20 or 30 pounds, something like that. It's hard for me to stick to it while at job and then I eat no carb. What do you suggest to succeed? Sugar water is the easiest thing that I can think of. Bring candies with you. If you get tired of that stuff, maybe just bring like rice balls with you. I mean, if you go to like Japan, it's not uncommon to see people just snacking on rice balls that just wrap it with a little nori and just that sometimes they'll put something in the rice ball and then wrap the rice around and put a little nori on it and just eat that. When I did carnivore and keto, I would always chew tons of sugar-free gum. Tasted fruity. Well, a lot of that is probably because your breath smelled terrible. I know mine was like almost lethal. Are you going to be changing anything up for weight loss, exercise, etc.? You calling me fat, Grace? Um, I have added exercise. I'm probably not going to change much else up. Oh, and hydration. I have really sucked at drinking enough water. Rice ball is like 10 calories. Mm, not really. I mean, they're pretty big. Thanks a lot. Damn, you don't hear many people losing over 50 or 100 or 200 pounds on keto. I didn't lose that much. I lost 20 or 30. Yeah. Because I really was not all that overweight when I started. I just really wanted to get the last bit off because I thought I wanted to be a bodybuilder. But then I realized that I really didn't like doing the high volume sets. And so I kind of went more into lifting heavy. Thoughts on honey? Should we consume it? I would stay away. I mean, sugar water, sugar water. It's basically sugar water. Do you have regular feeding times? No. I don't like to do that because then you just kind of get pigeonholed in because you might not be hungry at that time, or you might be more hungry before that. So I don't like to have set time. It looks like you have a huge chest. Yeah, I got it. I mean, I never really, I never really benched that much. I think 405 was where I wanted to be because I didn't want my chest any bigger than it already was. 405 is usually the most I bothered with. I weighed myself after months today, mistake, and I've put on another 4 pounds doing everything perfect, but not much bike. So it's all I can think of from there. Oh, is that what you're asking? Yeah, I can understand that. I I wanna reach out to Georgie a little bit more about some of this stuff because it is baffling, especially seeing how when I do raw, like extremely high calories on raw, I can't even keep weight on. Like it just falls off. It's ridiculous. Matter of fact, when I just do, but it's not practical, which is why I keep coming off of it. But when I do just high, I mean, I'm talking like a lot of calories, like 80 pounds of bananas a week, like 10 pounds a day to week. I can't even keep weight on. It just falls off so fast that I had to start adding avocados in because I didn't want to get loose skin. Is agave the same as yeah? Don't bother with agave. Is actually more acidic than most, so I would stay away from it. Hit training, no. Oh, hit training is fine, yes, but I would not. I'm not a big fan of hit cardio. 72 to 96 hours of recovery and growth between weight training. Mentor was a genius. Yeah, if you were, if I were ever to train again, and I don't think I like train people, Mentor is like the best way to go. 100%. I have a muscular build. I think when you lift, it's harder to lose weight without cardio. It's impossible. I have never, even when I did all that stuff with Raw, I still was doing couch to 5K. I cannot get weight off me if I am not doing cardio. Weightlifting doesn't help. Um, sedentary life doesn't help. You know, I have to have cardio. It's ridiculous. It drives me nuts because I don't even like cardio all that much. It's kind of like, eh. I don't mind going for long bike rides, but like right now that it's just I haven't been doing it. I've seen fat people who smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigarettes to deal with, oh, I didn't say everybody who smoke. From this insane world, stress is more deadly than tobacco. Yeah. I love watching Durian Rider debate carnivores. Has he done a lot of them? I've only seen one. Yeah, I don't know. They're talk about people who just are parroting information. Is the carnivores are really bad with it. At least keto try harder. Is dark muscovado, I don't know how to say that, brown sugar, demeria sugar good to consume, or just I would just do white cane sugar unless a good combination. If you wanted to bring something to work with you, a good combination is lemon juice and brown sugar. That that is a phenomenally good combination. Would you consider doing debates at some point? Yeah, I don't mind debates. I feel like I'm debating half the time with my comment section. I could not maintain raw to save my life. It is really hard. It really is hard. You're freezing all the time. It's a pain in the ass. You always constantly have to be ripening fruit. Even when I had cancer, I couldn't do it longer than 6 months. It was torture. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Well, at least you got rid of the cancer, I guess. Am I even allowed to say that? They'll probably block my channel now. You don't think it's bad to eat only one fruit for 6 months and nothing else? Like, was it 6 months? I wouldn't do it for 6 months, but I know Freely used to do the Banana Island for 30 days, and I think I'm like moving around like I got issues. My back is just not wanting to do this. 30 days ain't bad, but at 6 months, I think that's ridiculous. I know Morse claims he did that on an orange farm for 6 months, but I just he's woo woo for me. I can't handle that guy. I might have to call this soon. My like moving around too much. Where are you located? I live in Alabama, and people think I'm crazy for. Of course, you live in Alabama, man. Just tell them it's fried chicken. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. It's surprisingly acceptable here. Everybody thinks that. See, I don't really think of Cleveland as the Midwest, anyways, because we're only 6 hours from the Atlantic Ocean. So it feels East Coast, and we were the 14th state. Like there was the 13 colonies, and then the 14th state literally was Ohio. So it really doesn't feel Midwest to me. But when you think of the Midwest, and half the license plate that you see in Cleveland are like New York, and you know. So, but anyway, so I really don't think of it as Midwest here. But when you think of the Midwest, you really think of like really heavy food. But here, there is a lot of that. There is a lot of the heavy food, but vegan is pretty acceptable. But the thing that you run into is it's really high fat vegan. Does eating bananas make uh, well, they say in Thailand, if you have rice for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then for dessert, and then 5 bananas a day, your erection won't go away or whatever. I don't know. I do know that it is bigger since going vegan. Can't believe I'm talking about this now. I think cardio is a big factor in weight loss. Even doing 30 minutes a day boosted my metabolism. Yeah, your VO2 max, when that goes up, you become more of a fat burner. So I would spend that 30 minutes wisely. I like to climb hills, and that really will increase your VO2 max. So, Grace, wherever that question was, if you do something to increase your VO2 max, you really should start seeing weight come off. I know that even me going to climb hills up the road here has helped a little bit. How do you deal with sugar phobia around you? I actually I don't care. Like other people's opinions of me or anybody else are just, you know, they just kind of fall off. I think I would get more acceptance if I was doing meth instead of, yeah, you probably would. You'd probably get support groups around you, maybe even a fan club. I appreciate live streams. High carb, low fat is so demonized. It's hard to talk to anyone and ask questions about this lifestyle. It's ridiculous. Really, it is. Poor Miles. A lot of my family is there from there. They probably think you're an alien. I mean, maybe I am. Who knows? Maybe I am. Just joined. Sorry I missed the start. Yeah, I mean, how dare you miss the start? We keep getting earthquakes. May not be on, what are you in, Turkey? Be on for long. There are whole I would all right, I'm not going to talk about this much more than this, but I would look into the earthquakes. If they're 10 kilometers down, there's probably a reason they're happening. Um, New Zealand. If they're again, if they're 10 kilometers down below the earth, might be something going on. There are whole food vegans who think that I am being paid by Big Sugar when I tell them that sugar is sugar and that cane sugar isn't bad. Why? Who's paying you? New Zealand, shallow. I would trust me. I have a feeling that there's something going on with that. Yeah. I loved your story about fat being absorbed by a single apple. That is how I feel after. I'm telling you, I really should just do that experiment because I know Sandy likes almond butter. I should just make some almond butter for her and show. I take a video of that. It was nuts. I mean, my juicer was coated in fat from the almonds, and it just one apple slice took all that fat away. What do you think about eating only seasoned food? I think it's a good idea if you can find it, and it's usually cheaper because if I eat banana from Costa Rica, that banana will give me my body light information from that region, and my circadian rhythm will be messed. Oh, as far as that, hmm, you could. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. Japanese, but the thing is, bananas don't actually like light. They grow better under the canopy. So Japanese staple snack is an onigiri rice ball. The only problem is they love, yeah, they put fish inside. Yeah, I never eaten rice cold. I think it would be weird. It actually doesn't taste that bad. It really doesn't taste that bad at all. I don't like potatoes cold. Really, I don't like pasta cold, but rice really isn't that bad. I don't know why in my body. I guys hear that? Yeah, I don't know. Try it out. You know, Japanese have been doing for long, long, long time, and they've worked out for them. But yeah, there are some vegans who would accuse you of being paid by Big Sugar if you tell them that sugar isn't bad. I would love to be. I mean, if somebody signed me up for that, it's like the sugar, Big Sugar. Is there a Big Sugar? I don't know. If Sugar is watching this, if Sugar is watching this and they wanna pay me to talk about sugar, I would be more than happy to do it. I don't even know who that would be. I'm not gonna do anything suspect for it, but man, that would be, I mean, think about it. I know I've struggled to, my stress levels have been retarded high, but I lost 145 pounds eating bananas, dates, watermelon, and mangoes, and having a salad at night occasionally with, avocado. It's like 145 pounds I lost. And ironically, that 145 pounds lost always stays off. It's this last like 40 pounds that just fluctuates. It drives me nuts. As soon as my stress goes up, so does my weight. The candy companies might sponsor me. I mean, go for it, man. If they want to sponsor me to talk about candy and it's just vegan, low fat, be happy. How did you not into calorie from only fruit? Like I said earlier in the video, man, I was going through like 80 pounds of bananas, 10 pounds of dates. I mean, I even sometimes even for dinner, I would finish an entire 20 or 30 pound watermelon in one sitting. So I wasn't really short on calories. Hey Ryan, you said you gained weight on store bought hummus. Yeah, it's got. If you really look at the ingredients, most of it is tahini. Have you ever tried making your own? Yeah, without tahini, it's good. It's good stuff. It really is. It doesn't store for long, and it usually makes a lot more than I can really comfortably get down in like a week. So I don't make a ton of it, and it doesn't really freeze well, which is why I don't make more of it more often. Otherwise, I would, But some of the stuff, some of the people who've lived with me over the years, they don't like that. They like regular hummus, so they're not going to eat it. Uh, so that's why I don't make it as much. But yeah, it's good stuff. And then you can put whatever you want into it too. You can put, like if you want to actually roast your own peppers, if you want to roast your own, or if you want to caramelize onion or something like that. Or you can even make your own, that you've never seen before, like, I don't know, corn and something, or, or like a dill, or, I mean, you could have a lot of fun with it. Another thing I wanted to say about the hummus too. So if you use chickpeas and then like northern beans, that makes a really good consistency. But you got to have a good, like a Cuisinart to make it. Is it bad to eat potato or rice 45 and before bed? It depends on who you ask about that. I would just test it out for yourself. I do know that personally myself, if I stop eating like 2 or 3 hours before bed, I sleep better, but I rarely do that. It just is what it is. Like after I got off here, if I feel like going to work, it'll be busy from like 5 to like midnight. I'm never gonna work till midnight, but I probably work till 9 and I won't get home until eat and I try to get to bed. So but it is better if you don't do it that way. If I don't eat before sleep, I'm screwed. It varies. I prefer to have like sugar water before bed. That helps a lot. But as far as digestion, you do kind of want your digestion done before you go to bed. But it's kind of hard to do these days. So it really depends on the person, your situation, and when your work schedule is. I interviewed my sleep doctor. He doesn't really believe in any of this going to bed at a certain time means anything. But I have noticed that my energy is better. I know everybody's like, "Oh, you guys got so much energy," but my energy is better when I go to bed at like 10 o'clock at night and get up whenever. I don't set my alarm. I don't even own an alarm clock, and I don't allow the phone up in the bedroom. Stays like either on this floor or the floor above it. I don't ever go upstairs with it. Uh, and different things. I don't even know where I was going with that. Do you find sugar water leaves a weird feeling in the mouth? No, I find that only happens if the water is garbage. That is usually if it combines if your water is crap, I find that sugar combines with the water really bad. It has this weird aftertaste. But if you have like reverse osmosis or something like that, I don't notice it at all. Maybe try a different sugar. Maybe try different water. Um, but I have noticed that, but it's only with like certain water usually. Oops. Yeah, I can't think of, but I do know what you're talking about. The other time it kind of mixes poorly is if you had like pineapples. I know I put sugar in the pineapple juice, but I don't like pineapple or oranges or something like with sugar on it. But the juice, I don't mind putting sugar in that. There's different things. And potatoes, if you had potatoes, it tastes terrible. Like if you have sugar water afterwards. So I would play around with it. Uh, Yeah, you just never know. But I do know that when I use reverse osmosis, the sugar water tastes way, way, way better. Yeah, I've been using, cheap sugar and tap water so that oh, tap water, come on, man. Uh-uh. There's just too much stuff in this tap water these days. Get something to filter that out. Cheap sugar, I'm not really, against. Juice leaves a weird feeling in my mouth sometimes, so I started, using a straw. Hmm. Yeah, I don't own straws. I'm not a big fan. I'm not, like, a hater like coffee or anything, but straws, it's not my thing. Have you ever developed SIBO? It's more common in people with high carb intake. It's only more common in people with high carb intake if their fat intake is high too, because what happens is the fat mixes and then you get candida, and then candida turns into SIBO in your small intestine. That's what happens. So if you don't have a lot of fat in the diet, you're not going to get SIBO. I made videos about that. Whatever that crazy lady's name is, she's a dietitian that gets SIBO all the time. But that is what would cause that to happen. I drink bottled water until I save up for a distiller. I would I can't talk about some of this here, but always seem to grab, it out of the tap with, sugar while leaving for the gym. Well, maybe stop doing that. Maybe that might be the answer. Yeah, tap is never the answer. At least I know in the UK, they don't allow fluoride. At least you're lucky there, unless they change that too. So at least you got that going for you. But yeah, I would change up the water that you use. General regulations about tap water are out of touch. They do where I live. They allow it. Oh, they didn't used to. We used to be one of the only countries that allowed fluoride, but they wanted to kill everybody's thyroid, so they started allowing it everywhere, I guess. Another thing that's not legal to buy in UK is wormwood, and I think wormwood is pretty beneficial for everybody as far as getting rid of some of the parasites and everything that are out there. Anyway, we're coming up on an hour here. Any more questions? Because I might get heading out here. I'm gonna make a shepherd's pie tonight. It's vegan, obviously. I don't know exactly how it's gonna go, but I might take pictures and put it on my Instagram. Wormwood tea, if they allow it, yeah, I would try it. I live in the Rocky Mountains, and I still won't drink water from the tap. Some days our water smells like a swimming pool. It's nuts. I mean, if you can't get anything else, if tap water is the only thing that you can get a bunch of containers, fill the containers, and let the chlorine uh, um, it's a gas, so it evaporates off. Just let it evaporate off. What do you think of Natasha eating 30 grams of fat daily? Well, she didn't want to be rail thin. I don't blame her. Who does? You know, I have no zero, none, no interest in being super skinny. And if the person I'm with wants me super skinny, chances are they're super skinny. And if they don't got that peach, I'm not there. So I just have zero interest in any of that. Do you still check up on Durian Rider's protocols? His last few vids seem great. Yeah, I watch it. She said 40 to 50 grams a day. Either way, she doesn't want to be too slim. What are your sleep patterns looking like these days? Oh my gosh. I can't get off my phone before bed is a problem. I don't let my phone in the bedroom. When everybody's like, "Well, what if somebody dies or what if somebody," and like it will, if the person dies or something like that, it will still be dead in the morning. And when I wake up, I will find out about it. So I don't allow it upstairs. What about phytic acid, lectins, arsenic, gluten in beans, wheat? All right, here's the thing. Everybody on this planet is going to die. So you're not going to run from this stuff for forever. If you're going to stress yourself out about it for forever, you're going to be dead sooner. So it's just not something that I'm going to stress out about. You can do things like juice beetroot. You can juice carrot, anything with folic acid in it, and mix it with like blackstrap molasses, and it gets rid of a lot of that stuff. You can do sun chlorella, the actual sun chlorella, like the brand sun chlorella. That'll help clean you out. I know some other people who like to do the phytoplankton thing. That cleans them out. I mean, this is stuff that you're not going to talk about with Durian Rider, but I know that it exists. I've seen it. I've seen the stuff that comes out of me. If you're a very overweight person, you're going to see some crazy stuff come out of you if you detox too fast. So I know that the stuff exists, but there's only so much you can do about it unless you are a billionaire and you're going to go buy all your own farmland. You're going to have all your organics. You're not going to grow anywhere near anything that has, I don't even want to say the company's name, just different. Um, I mean, some of these chemicals that these farm uses, you literally have to wear a hazmat suit to put it on. So you'd even have to buy land around your farm to make sure that this stuff isn't blowing off into your farm. It's a hot mess. So you can only do the best you can. High carb, low fat will get the weight off. The more weight you have off, the less your lymphatic system is overworked. The less your lymphatic system is overworked, the more weight. I mean, I would guarantee that if a lot of people bought a cellar sizer, link down below, a lot of people bought a cellar sizer, you would be shocked at how much lymphatic drainage there was, and you probably might even lose 10-15 pounds in the first week you have it because you haven't moved the lymph. So a lot of this stuff is going to be in the system, in the world. You can't avoid it, right? So just stressing out about this stuff is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. Organic normally doesn't use this stuff, but even if the organic is grown next to a farm that uses inorganic materials, it's going to blow over. So it's impossible to avoid this at the point that we're at. Farmers used to rest the soil. They used to regenerate their soil, and then they would use the other. They used to use the three system. So they would have one. They would split their farm in threes. One field wouldn't have anything on it. The next field would have like barley, so they could till it in the next year. The one field that they would grow on, and then that field that they grew on, they would rest that soil the next year. And then the field that they rested last year, they would grow barley on. And then the one that they grew barley on the last year, they would till that in and they would use that to grow. They don't do that anymore. So a lot of this stuff is unavoidable. It's just unavoidable. All right. I don't even know if that answered the question. I got, get me on tangents and see what happens. Ryan, have you seen Medical Medium's opinion on processed sugar? Don't care. Like, I like a lot of his stuff. He even admits that your liver runs off sugar. Sugar is sugar, sugar. We'll have to watch your last vid with Natasha. You were speaking about gaining weight on the protocol. Couldn't get to it yet, though. Did I talk about that? All right. So when I interview somebody, I kind of just go into like, unfortunately, it leaves me with that stupid face. But I just kind of go into a mode where I listen to these people. I kind of just know I got to know what question's coming up next. So I don't always know what I'm saying. Sometimes it just comes out. So I'm pretty sure I did talk about that. Sorry. I have to be in the interview. It's like my favorite thing to do is interview these people. I want to go Jillian Berry style. All right. Little after an hour. Any final thoughts, questions, comments? Maybe somebody else will call me a pathological liar. Try to hurt my feelings. That's it. All right. Thanks for the stream. Great work. No problem. I think I'm going to call it here. And anybody who's getting in here late, just rewatch it whenever it posts. I don't know how fast that happens. But yes. Anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. Thanks for joining, and I'll talk to you next time.